Hi guys, welcome to the Indian FTR1200 Rally. Born on the dirt, but she's built for the road. Let's see how she rides. So, starting her up. Ooh, interesting concept, these FTRs. So basically, what is it? It's try not to fall off the back. It's a flat tracker based on American style flat tracker racers, which actually have 750cc engines, but this being more road focused and road biased, Indian have chucked a 1200 in it, so thank you for that, Indian. It's got a 1203cc V-twin, 123 brake horsepower and 120 Newton meters of torque. Yeah, it's not lacking any power, that's for sure. I've known about these things for a while, and if I'm being completely honest, I've always think they look really cool, but I've never known that much about like flat trackers, etc. So I've never really known what they're about, but seeing them in the person and having done a bit of research, ooh, she's pokey. Having done a bit of research on them, they're wicked bikes, these flat trackers. They're basically done in America mainly, racing on sort of like dirt, gravel tracks. Basically they go around in a circle or a sort of oval shape and just race each other and go as quick as possible and like slide the back end out. It's really cool, check it out. It's a typical American style racing, a bit like NASCAR if you've ever seen that. They just go around in circles. It's quite amusing. But it's manic. But yes, this is based on those, so interesting concept. I must say straight off the bat, I would not take this thing off-road. I may take it down a really calm gravel track. Other than that, I ain't going off-road on this thing, even though it's called the Rally. So first off, what's she like to ride? Well, actually, it's a very comfortable place to be. Really is a comfortable ride. The handlebars are really high up, and it's a very sort of neutral riding position. It is very comfortable. It's not like it's even more comfortable than a naked bike. Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised. I was expecting it to be a little bit like clattery, a little bit not very composed, well put together, a little bit vibey. Not at all, actually. I'm a little bit surprised so far. It feels really quite smooth, but got that V-twin engine, obviously. Very comfortable, sensible size. It's a 780mm seat height. I'm 5'9" and I can just about flat foot it, which is sort of perfect, really. Nice bark from the exhaust. But yeah, it's not your traditional Indian, this. Like, Indian are traditionalists, aren't they, with their cruisers? So they've really really gone against the grain, shall we say, with this bike for their traditional bikes. But this is also, haha, funnily enough, the first Indian motorcycle I've ever ridden, which is an event in itself. Oh god, this thing's gonna be fun. It's got a different feeling to the handling. So before we get well into the review, please excuse my silly bag here and the GoPro. It doesn't help the aesthetics front end of the bike, I know, but practical means are a necessity for me. Anyway, so good. So far, so good, I should say. Really quite smooth, and I'm loving that V-twin. I was expecting it to be more reminiscent of a Ducati, but I must say it's not. It actually feels smoother and a slightly longer sort of throw and thrums to the engine than a Ducati. Right, I'll catch up with you in a bit and hit some country roads, see what she's all about. Just quickly, what's she like on the dual carriageway faster roads? There's a tiny little screen at the front on this Rally version, but other than that, basically it's a naked bike. It's all clean air. I'm not getting any bad air or buffeting, so that's fine. We've got cruise control here as standard on all the Indian FTR range, which is really nice. And with that high handlebars and comfortable riding position, it's a really comfy place to be. Also, I'm up in 6th gear now, going 70 miles an hour, and there's just something about that engine. It's actually quite it's not a vibey V-twin, it's quite a cruiser style, throbby, torquey V-twin. It's very comfortable at these higher speeds. They're just lolloping along. No problem at all, no strain from the engine whatsoever. It's really nice, actually. I'm actually quite impressed with it on dual carriageways and quicker roads. I could do a long time on this. a little bit more time on her. What's she like out on some twisties? I can tell you, this is a really fun bike. It's not like a super naked bike like the KTM 1290 or the Yamaha MT10. It's not like that. It's not going to completely blow your socks off, but it's fast and it's got a different style to its handling. It's a really interesting concept, this bike. I'm quite impressed with it. I thought it was just going to be a little bit of a gimmick, you know, the FTR1200, a sort of Americans gone for the sort of let's build a bike that looks like a flat tracker but that's not really, and charge them a fair amount of money for it and see if people buy it sort of thing, and it not make sense. But that really isn't not the case. It's a really good package, this, and it makes complete sense for on the road. Yeah, I really like this bike. Where do we start? The powertrain's really nice, so there's plenty of power there, 123 horsepower, but it's definitely not too much. It's not going to blow your socks off and scare the bejesus out of you when you're riding it, which is a good thing from my perspective. I don't want a crazy fast machine. This is just plenty. Woo, it's got loads of go, very responsive throttle. And I've got to give it to Indian for the first bike I've ever ridden from them. They know what they're doing. Their engine's beautiful. This V-twin, there's something about it. It's sort of like half like a cruiser, half like a super naked, or a third cruiser, third super naked, third adventure bike, this thing. It's the best I can describe it. It's weird. The engine is really smooth now, just cruising at 40 miles an hour, 35, or whatever speed you're going. You have it in the right gear. The engine's lovely and smooth and throaty. It's not vibey at all. Really relaxing. You know, if you've ever ridden an Africa Twin, you could bit similar to that, but then when you get on it and bring the revs up, she goes. You get some barks from the exhaust, the engine tightens up, it starts to vibe a bit more, you get a better throttle response. Yeah, it's really fun. I'll say as well, the dash on here is really cool. I like that. It's like an analog dash with a digital below. You get your gear, fuel, RPM, and you can toggle through various different things. Really nice. It's got like I love the Indian writing. I love this like sort of carbon fibre-ish finish below it. It's all really nice vibe to it. So along with that, the clutch is really nice and light, as well as the gear shifter as well. Really positive gear throw, but nice and light as well. It's a hell of a package, this, and it's very comfortable as well. If you're looking for a comfy bike, don't look past this. Your legs I've got quite a large angle in my legs. I would say those pegs are pretty high actually, the foot pegs, but other than that, it's a really comfortable riding position. Right guys, the Indian FTR1200 Rally. What do I think? Impressive. I'm impressed with this. Standout features is that engine, the V-twin 1203cc motor. It's really nice. I've never ridden an Indian before, as I've been saying, and really nice motor. It's got nice characteristics of a sort of cruiser, along with when you get on it a bit, it speeds up and it's quite sporty as well. So it's a good ride. As well as that, stands out is the riding position actually. Number two that stands out. It's really nice high up, sort of flat tracker, as the name suggests, handlebars, nice comfy seat, really nice riding ergonomics and dynamics. Yeah, so it's a super comfortable bike as well. Right, quick fire round on the specs. Brakes up front, you've got two 320mm discs with 4-piston Brembo calipers, and actually it's got steel braided hoses as well for those. So yeah, the brakes really nice feel to them up front. On the rear, you've got a single 260mm disc with a 2-piston Brembo caliper. Rear brakes feel okay. I'm not sure in flat tracking whether you want to back the bike into a corner, whether they use the rear brakes or not, but for on the road they've gone for a pretty standard setup. Front suspension, guys, you've got Sachs fully adjustable inverted forks with 120mm worth of travel. Onto the rear suspension, you've got again ZF Sachs fully adjustable with 120mm worth of travel. Alright, so back on the road. Any issues? issues with the bike I've found. There is one issue, which I rarely find on motorbikes, but it's a heat coming from the engine. I've never really noticed it, but I mean, I've noticed it a little bit, but not to these extremes. It is a really hot day today in the UK. We're having a bit of a heat wave, so it's to be expected. But yeah, that engine can get, to just be totally honest, it can get quite hot, that. My legs are roasting at the moment, so I don't know whether that's on the same on every bike, but yeah, just to give you the facts, that is a warm engine. Other than that, downsides, I suppose, look, it's an expensive motorbike, nearly 13 grand for this rally spec, so that is pricey. You could get some serious other bikes for that money, but it's a pretty special and unique bike. I think this is what this is about. It really is unique, and it's actually it's not got the highest horsepower and, you know, torque and power figures. They're not small, it's a quick bike, but it actually really nice for on the road, the amount of power. Excuse that cliche, I know I always say that, but it's a great amount of power. It's definitely not too much. I have hit a couple of I do have a tendency, whether it's my gear changing style, but to knock it into neutral as well. I've done it a few times, but I actually really like the gearbox, so I'm not going to complain about that. Just going to say it takes something to get used to. Other than that, the gearbox is lovely, flicking up and down. One thing actually I'll mention that it could do with, that it is missing, is a quick shifter. No quick shifter, which I'm surprised at. Yeah, a bit of a shame, but not the end of the world, because as I said, the clutch and the gears are really nice. So what's the handling and the brakes like? The handling's a really interesting one. So on this rally model, you've got a 19-inch front. It handles well. I wouldn't describe it as very agile and nippy, quick to turn in. But there's something quite unique about the handling. Once you got it into a corner and set, the handling's very good. You can really lean this bike over. And then the brakes are nice and strong, those Brembos up front, to stop you when you're coming into the corner. It's a different style handling bike. Sorry, I'm not quite sure best how to describe it, but it's fun. It is definitely fun. So the exhaust, don't know if you can hear it, but it's got great little pops, even with it being Euro 5 compliant. Sometimes on the downshifts and when you change gear, it gives a little pop, so I should imagine with a sort of aftermarket exhaust, Akroprovich or something like that, it would, yeah, it would sound really sweet, this engine. Really characterful, really cool noise to it. Alright guys, sweet ride. We're back at Blade Motorcycles here in Swindon. Thank you very much to Blade Motorcycles in Swindon for lending me yet again another stunning motorcycle, and a great spec as well. Actually, I love this rally spec with the spoked wheels and the sort of knobbly tyres, suggesting off-roading, but you know, it's mainly for on-roading, this bike. I think it's awesome, really like it. I really like the engine. Beautiful amount of torque just for cruising. It's like a long, I just think I'd describe it as a long-legged torquey motor, but then when you get on it, it's sporty as well, revs up, nice vibes, good handling. And yeah, the comfort of the bike's really nice. So you've got the high-rise handlebars up here, come up nice and high. So it's really comfy. As I was saying earlier, it's a bit like a mixture of a weird, like a third cruiser, third adventure bike, and a third naked motorcycle. It's an interesting concept, these FTRs. I wasn't that interested in them to start off with, but I am now I've ridden it. I think it's genuinely a really good bike. Especially from Indian. Nothing against Indian at all, but I wasn't expecting it to be so refined and so nice, that engine to be so lovely, creamy, torquey, long-legged, smooth, nice light clutch and gears and everything, you know. Quality bike. I hope you like the vid, guys. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and hit that like button for more fantastic motorcycle videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Till next time. Ciao bella!